Sorry, let's start again. Right. I went to the Gay Pride March, Gay Pride Festival on Saturday night. But I went for the march. I didn't actually go for the festival. I went so that I could walk on the march. So I could march down the streets with my brothers and sisters or whatever. You know, well, that's what the idea was, to march hand in hand down the street. You know, I've said that bit about, splitting the leg. Yeah, I've done that already. So I was a bit upset about it, so I went home. Because I don't like your music anyway. Your music sucks, you know that. It's crap. Anyway, I was saying, yeah. And the thing is, you've got your rights now. You're allowed to get married if you're gay. When you're 16, actually, believe it or not. Amazingly enough, it's 2017, yeah? 2017? I'm not going to think this. And, yeah, it's actually legal. You're allowed to get married. You're allowed to be gay and have sex when you're 16 now. Wow. Aren't you very lucky? Do you know the legal age of consent in 1993 was 21? Legally, I mean, you know. Legally, in 1993, it was, the actual law was 21 if you're gay. You're not allowed to be gay until you're 21. Literally, had to be 21. It's honestly to God, in history. Look, law, history's like, hold on. Whoa, there goes another goldfish. So, sure. But legally, in Britain, until 1994, you had to be 21 to have gay sex, legally. But we went on this march in 1994. Paul Salou was there, actually. In fact, I'll tell you the truth. No, the legal age is 16. Truth is, I lost my virginity to my best mate, Andy. I won't tell you his surname, because he's married. But he's married now. But when I was 14, I lost my virginity to Andy, my best mate. And we actually we were wanking each other off. We were sort of wanking each other off for about 4 years, man. From the age of 14 until we left school, basically. You know, I had a mate called Andy. That's his first name, Andy, mate. But actually, we were wanking each other off from the age of 14 until we were 18, and that was 1980. I said the first time I had gay sex, it was 1980. I was 14 years old, actually. Shall I tell you about the time I first had gay sex? Oh, why not? I'm talking to myself again. Good. You see, in 1980, I went on holiday with my best mate, Andy. His name was Andy. And first night we were there, we were staying at his auntie's, who had a hairdresser's or something, you see. And we were living, we were sleeping in the living room sort of thing, you know, kind of thing. And she had these two beds, head to head. Unusual. Probably a shelf or something. But we had these, our matched to head to head like, you know, that was it. Andy's head there, and my head was there sort of thing. But it's going that way, right? Anyway, I was like, we were showing the room, and I was sort of like asleep. I was 14 years old, like 14 years old. It was 1980. 1980, I was 14 years old. And I hear a squeak sound going, squeak, 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 squeak. I say, Andy, what are you doing? And Andy says, wanking. I says, oh. And Andy says, do you wank? And I says, yeah, occasionally. And Andy said, do you come? This is exactly what happened. I said, this is exactly what happened. I was 14. And Andy said, do you come? And I said, what do you mean? It's true, it's absolutely true. And he said, you come? And I said, what do you mean? And Andy said, do you want me to show you? I said, okay. So Andy got me to lie down on the floor, and I was lying down on the carpet. I can remember it distinctly. Lying down on the carpet, but stark bollock naked. And Andy says, take off your pants. So I take off my pants. So I take off my pants. And Andy starts rubbing my penis up and down. So my penis goes up and down, up and down. And it gets really hard, it gets really hard. And it's about half an hour, it feels like that half. He's going up and down like that for about 20 minutes or something, And I say to Andy, look, man, I think I need to go to the toilet. He says, no, you don't. And he keeps going up and down. I go, oh! And all of a sudden this fucking explosion came out of my penis, and I come like a fountain. And it bursts out of my fucking cock like a fucking tornado. That was 1980. That was 1980. I was 14 years old, and a spurt and a cum just burst out of my fucking cock like that. And anyway, me and Andy were wanking each other. So then, I come, and Andy says, do you want to wank me off? And he says, yeah. He says, do you want to suck me? So I did. And I wanked him off, and I wanked him, and wanked him. We weren't, I only gave him a blowjob once or twice. We were wanking partners, basically. Anyway, so I wanked him, and he came, and then I drank it and stuff. And so, yeah, we were sort of like wanking buddies for about until we left school, basically. We're still in contact, We're 51 now, 51 years old. Fucking hell, we're getting old, can't you see? But yeah, and we were sort of like wanking partners. That's the Doc, by the way. I won't tell you why I call him the Doc. There is a reason why he's called the Doc. You ever heard of the Doc? No, never mind. Unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, that's how I met Doc Skurlock, anyway. Anyway, yeah, and, oh God, he is getting old, isn't he? Yeah, I am. Anyway, yeah, but you wonder why you're free. What is it? Do you mind if I just, no, can pause it? Oh, sorry. I'm talking, but I'm a little bit hungry, so I'm just trying purple stuff. Don't know what it does. Have you ever had the purple stuff? I'm hungry. But apparently the government says you've got to have your 5 vitamins a day, don't they? So the government says you've got to have 5 vitamins a day. Right. Milk is calcium. I drink 2 pints of milk a day. Eggs, that's got to be a vitamin or 2 in it, in eggs. Milk. Bananas, that's quite a few vitamins. That's 3 vitamins. Beer, that's 4, 5 vitamins. Brandy, 7, 8 vitamins. Anyway, I'm hungry, so I can't bother to cook, so I'm going to try my purple stuff. This is beetroot, apparently. Because actually they use beetroot quite a lot in Caribbean stuff, drinks, don't they? Stuff, or Caribbean food. Beets. Ugh. I don't like beetroot normally, but it's nice as a drink. I don't know, trust it. It's kind of like, do you know when you're hungry and you can't be bothered to cook? It's too hot to eat hot food. Or it's just can't be bothered to cook and shit like that, So I've been buying these smoothies. So I'm drinking smoothies instead. So I can't be bothered to cook. I'm not a very good cook. In fact, I'm a shit cook. I'm absolute crap at cooking. Honest to God, I'm not a very good cook. And I hate fucking processed food, and I hate, plastic food. And I'm hungry, so I'm drinking these smoothies now. It's just sort of like flat my stomach. Anyway, yeah, apparently, yeah. Nowadays, you're lucky. You don't really have anything left to fight for, do you? Well, it's legal now. It's legal to have sex at 16, yeah? Gay sex. It is actually legal to have gay sex at 16. You're allowed to get married if you're gay. and all that. It's freedom stuff. So I'm trying to fill up my stomach. But yeah. But the problem is, okay, you got your freedom, yeah? You're allowed to do everything, yeah? And by the way, how do you think, do you think you were born with it? How do you think you got your freedom? The only reason you are free is because someone fought for your freedom. Until 1994, it was illegal to have sex at the age of 20. You had to be 21 to have gay sex until 1994. Is Paul Selous still in the house? Paul Selous. So is Paul Selous still in the house? Good. We're 51 now, Paul. In fact, Paul Selous, we're 51 now. Do you remember 1994? The charge from the Light Brigade. I've known Paul Selous since I was 5 years old at Howdell School, Hatfield. Right? Paul Selous. I've known Paul Selous since I was 5 years old at Hatfield School, Hertfordshire. He tried to kiss me once when we were 5 years old. No. Paul. Yeah, I've known Paul since I was 5 years old at Hatfield School. Howdell School, Howdell School. Hatfield School, actually. Yeah, we went to Hatfield School too. But, Howdell School, weren't it? We were 5 years old, same in the same class. We were. I think Mrs. Gately is still alive. She's getting very old now, mind you. Poor Mrs. Gately, she's very old. She's about Brenda Gately. She's about 85 now, I think. Something like that. I don't know, she's getting very old. I saw her about a month or two ago, but I hope she's alright. But she's getting very, very old. She was our very first teacher, actually, Paul. It's true. She was our very first teacher, wasn't she? We were in the same class all our primary years, Paul. And our secondary years, by the way. Yeah, Hatfield School as well, weren't we, Paul? Alright, Paul Selous. In 1994, do you remember the charge of the Light Brigade? When we marched to Parliament, along the streets of London. When all the gays, do you remember that, 1994? When all the gays marched to London to lower the age of consent from 21 to 16. Do you remember 1994? I do, very well. I hadn't seen Paul for about 10 years or 20 years, I think it was. Anyway, and we were on this, I went to this march in 1994. Bumped into Paul Selous, one of my mates at school, from primary school. We've known each other since we were 5 years old, for fuck's sake. And we marched to London, didn't we, Paul? We marched to London. Half the people on the march were dying of HIV, had AIDS. Do you know, I think half the marchers on that march had AIDS, didn't they? In 1994. Just half the marchers were dying of AIDS at the time. Don't know if they remember AIDS. It was like the charge of the Light Brigade, Paul. Said it was the charge of the Light Brigade. How many of us are going to survive this, Paul? How many people do you think were on that march? Paul Selous. How many people were on that march in 1994? How many of us survived? He says, how many of us? It's 2007, Paul. It's 2007 now. They've got their equal rights. Everyone's free, Paul. Everyone's free. Yippee. They've got their equal rights. 2017 now. But how many of us survived the march? That was 1994. And we actually managed, that was under John Major, by the way. That wasn't Maggie Thatcher's government, that was John Major's government where we did that, by the way. It was in fact John Major who lowered the age of consent from 21 down to 18. We didn't manage to get it down to 16. we did not manage to get it down to 16, which is what we were aiming for at the time, because we were marching to get the age of consent lowered from 21 to 16 to be equal. But we actually managed in 1994, Paul, to lower the age of consent down to 18. And you know, it was the exact night that Derek Jarman died as well. That was the exact night. Do you remember Derek Jarman? He made a movie called Blue, all about AIDS. Do you know AIDS? Do you remember AIDS? You ever heard of Derek Jarman? Derek Jarman made a film called Blue, yeah, in about 1990s, you know, before he died. No, probably about 92, I think it was. That must have been about 92, because Derek Jarman actually died this very same night, Paul. So Paul Salute. Derek Jarman actually died on the very same night. I can't exactly remember the date, obviously, but he died on the very same night that we did that march, Paul. Yeah? Half the marchers were dying of AIDS, weren't they? It's true. Half of us were dying of fucking AIDS at the time. Do you remember that, 1994? I wasn't. I've never, luckily, I've always been sort of quite lucky in that respect. Well, safe. Wear a condom, you know, if you don't know the guy. If you don't know who you're fucking, wear a condom. If you do know who you're fucking, who gives a fuck? Anyway, half the marchers were fucking dying of AIDS. It was like the charge of the Light Brigade. I mean, it's 2017. It makes me wonder how many of us actually survived. Anyway, it was people like us. We're 51 now, Paul, yeah? We're 51. But it was the people who actually got, you know, that was 1994. That's like 10, 13 years later, man, now. Wow. That's how you got your freedom, because people marched for their freedom. People marched for their freedom. Do you really think we had to get permission? Do you really think we always got permission to march? It was a protest march. You don't ask permission for a protest march, man. You don't go up to the government and say, can I have permission for a protest march? Which is what they have done. You don't go up to the government and say, can I have permission for a protest march? You don't ask for permission, you do it, you know. I went to Gay Pride and you're not allowed to march anymore. You're not allowed to walk down the street anymore. What? I only went to that fucking festival so that I could march in the parade. But you're not allowed to walk, you're not allowed to march, there's too many people. So what the fuck are you on about? I went to this festival, I said, there was all this, the road split in half. I said, what's going on? I said, you're not allowed to march, there's too many people. That's the bloody point. There's supposed to be too many people. You're supposed to create a very long line of people, and you're supposed to line up together, and you're supposed to walk down the bloody street together as members of the public. As members of the public, you have the freedom to walk. True? Isn't it true that as a member of the public, you have the freedom to walk down the bloody street? The whole point of the Gay Pride March was to march down the street together. Who gives a fuck if you need permission? For fuck's sake, it's a protest march. You don't ask fucking permission for a fucking protest march. And I'm protesting now that I demand the right to walk down the street. That's the protest. I demand the right to walk down the street. Right? So if you get 1,000 people walking down the street together, then you get a protest march. If you get 1 million people walking down the street together, you get an enormous snake. But they said you're not allowed to walk down the street because there's too many of you. You're not allowed to march because there's too many people. How can you say that you're not allowed to walk down the streets if there's too many people? Why don't you protest against that? Instead of standing on the sidelines waiting for the carnival to go by, and you watch the fucking things go by, you can't see a fucking thing because all I can see is the back of your fucking head. The whole point of marching down the street is walking down the street in one long line to show that you're together. How can you have to have permission to walk down the bloody street? The protest is supposed to... I'm protesting because I wanted to march with my brothers and sisters, with my fellow gays and all that. So I wanted to walk down the fucking street. But you won't let me walk down the street because there's too many people. How can you say that there's too many people walking down the streets? How can you possibly say that there's too many people walking down the street? You say, well, you're not allowed to march this year because there's too many people. What about the other side of the road where there's that fucking crowd doing nothing? You've got a crowd just standing there waiting to watch the back of your head as the carnival goes by. What a waste of fucking time that day was then, eh? Wake up. Bloke came up to me the other day and says, Bill, there's a price on your head. I said, what? I said, there's a price on your head. I said, which head? I said, Bradley Walsh. Bad joke.